Welcome to another Forex Market Outlook here with the FX Big Dog. We're going to go ahead and take a look and see what's moving the markets this week. Now, we all know that there is an underlying issue that's taking place at the moment right now that's creating volatility in the market. But we have two things that we should be focusing on. One is we've got the coronavirus on the one end, and then we've got US oil with the price war between the Saudis and Russia that's also creating volatility in the market. In fact, the daily trading range has gone from about 50 to 80 pips a day to around about 250 to 400 pips a day. It's huge. The thing is, it creates opportunity. But what is moving the market? Is it the coronavirus or is it US oil? All right. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the details and see exactly what is out there, what is moving the market, and how we can take advantage of that. All right. So all of that information is going to be taking place right after this. Alright, so I'm certain that you're at this point right now, like I am, just want to choke myself and say, when is this going to end? Alright, when is this going to end? I mean, we've got this coronavirus issue. We know that the government or the countries are taking action to be able to stimulate the economy. They've got big asset purchasing programs in place. They're cutting rates. They're doing everything they can to support the economy so that we don't go into recession. In fact, President Trump even tried to avoid the question is, are we going into recession? And that question was avoided. So everyone knows that that is definitely something that could happen if things continue to move the way it is. Now, we've seen the Tokyo market really crash every time we open up on Sunday at the markets open. We've seen a big crash in the Tokyo market at the start of the week, which sets the tone for the rest of the week. And every start of the week, we're starting to see a big bearish move on Asian pairs like Aussie, New Zealand dollar, JPY has been affected. And all of these, and by the way, JPY or the Bank of Japan kept the rates unchanged. They already got negative rates, but at the moment right now, they kept the rates unchanged. They never made any changes. And we did see a big bullish move in JPY, all right, across the board. Now, if we're going to go ahead and continue to focus in on what's moving the market, you can actually go ahead and take a look at things like pound Canadian dollar. And pound Canadian dollar had a big fall. It dropped from the tops to the bottoms. And that means that pound Canadian dollar doesn't mean that US oil is affecting that pair. Because if the pound is dipping off the Canadian, that means Canadian is getting stronger. And Canadian doesn't get stronger if US oil dips. If we start to see US oil price moving south, the Canadian dollar tends to move in the same direction, which means it will weaken. And if it weakens, it should be pushing the pound Canadian bullish. The same thing comes across with regards to the Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD has been falling short. Obviously, we're getting a lot of action out of the coronavirus that's creating this move to the downside. But if we're getting weak oil, very weak oil, don't you think that the Canadian would then go ahead and weaken by driving the Aussie back up again? And we should see more of a standoff instead of a one-directional move. And that's what's happening right now. US oil price war that's taking place did affect the market at the start of the week 2 weeks ago. We saw a big move on US oil. We saw a big gap in the market. And with that gap, we did see that affect a lot of the Canadian crosses. In fact, we saw a nice little push to the upside on Aussie CAD. Pound CAD did the same thing. But when it hit its tops, and we got the news out on 2 weeks ago on the Tokyo market losing 5.8% in seconds at the open, what happened? Everything changed around. We started seeing the market starting to dip to the downside, specifically Aussie CAD and a lot of the other Asian crosses. And that's what's really driving the market at the moment right now. It's not US oil. We've got a lot of focus around US oil. The only currency pair that's really been affected, and I posted a video on this yesterday, the only currency pair that's really been affected by US oil right now is going to be the US dollar Canadian. because not only is it going to be the Canadian being affected by this, but of course Canadians are a big supplier to the US on oil. In fact, they're supplying the US with 2 million barrels a day, and that is slowing down. That's becoming a problem. So this does affect US. All right, it affects the US big time. So which means that the dollar is not only being affected by, the U.S. oil price fluctuation is not only affecting the Canadian dollar, but if you take the U.S. dollar Canadian cross, that pair is being affected, and you can see that on the chart. So as soon as we go ahead and do a comparison between U.S. dollar Canadian and U.S. oil, you can see that the price movement is very, very much similar. All right, you can see the very similar move. You'll start seeing US dollar CAD rallying as oil price moves down. When oil price moves back up again, you'll see the same correlation. You'll start to see US dollar Canadian start moving back up again. So it's definitely moving in opposite direction, which means there's a definite correlation on US oil and US CAD. But what about the other pairs, right? What about the other pairs? Well, the other pairs are what's really messing the market up is, of course, the coronavirus. And we know that there's certain things that have been put into place to be able to support the economy, but also take action on trying to eliminate the spread of the coronavirus. All right, everything's been put into place. In fact, there's shutdowns in Italy, shutdowns in Spain, shutdowns in Portugal. I just spoke to a very good friend of mine in Portugal. Things like that are happening, and even here in the US, they're starting to shut down things here, social shutdowns, which means no bars, we can't go to bars. Very soon it's going to be restaurants. So they're going to take more action to eliminate the spread of the virus. So how's this going to affect our trading? Well, I believe that the markets are going to move in these different waves, right? And at the moment right now, we're starting to slow down. Things are starting to slow down because we're progressing in taking action to prevent the spread of the virus, plus supporting the economy. So with those two actions being taken, being implemented, that's going to start bringing back a little bit more excitement to the market. We're not going to see as much bearish movement that we have been seeing over the last few weeks, because now it's a case of we're taking action. Now everyone's going to be on the sidelines, not panicking as much, because now they're going to review the data. They're going to be watching the data, because in the next 14 days, it's going to be huge. The next 14 days, as the data starts coming in, and as the news starts reporting good news that we're getting less people infected, we're getting more people recovering, less people dying from the virus, this type of news is going to be very supportive to what's going to happen in the market. And so should we be concerned about the fall, the big dips that we've seen right now in the market? Could this be heading into recession? Well, the problem here is I'm more of a technical trader, right? So I look at the technicals and I make decisions based on technical lineups. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go into the charts and let's go take a look at a couple of the pairs that have been affected by the coronavirus and see how they match up and line up with our technical setup to make us to make a decision as to whether or not we should be buying into a pair or standing on the sideline. All right, so let's check it out, and we're going to go ahead and pop open the charts right now. So we're going to dig into the technicals, and so we can go ahead and take a look at. And by the way, I've just got this chart up. I didn't realize I had it open here, but you can see here this was the pound Canadian, and you can see the big gap. This is the big gap in the market right here, where we had the news on the price war with the Saudis and Russia. We had this big gap in the market, price turned around, and we head all the way back down south, and there it is. Yeah, we're down here at support again. Now, the question here is, are we going to break through? Well, I believe we're going to continue to move back up, because as long as it's staying here at the support level, we should be seeing price move back up. Now, if price doesn't, if we do start seeing a break of this level right here, if we do start seeing a break of this level to the downside, then we will go ahead and start thinking about selling. All right, we're going to start thinking about selling. Now, I'm going to go ahead and let me just go ahead and just add, oops, I just did something here. I want to go ahead and add another one right here. Let's do this. All right, there we go. All right, so what we're going to go ahead and do here is we are going to be looking for price, all right, to either go ahead and break sell, or I'm just bringing this tool of mine here to the side here. Oh, there we go. So we're going to look for price to go ahead and either fall down here, retest resistance, and then go ahead and trade. We actually just made a decision in the trading room and we said that if we start seeing price break through a support level, we're going to go ahead and actually scalp this down south until we start losing trades, and then go ahead and look for the retracement and then sell back down south again. So we've already made a decision that we're going to do some scalping, because when we have these big moves that we're having right here, we don't want to miss out on that. We want to take advantage of this opportunity as much as possible. So we're going to check it out and make sure that we are still focused in on those moves. Now, we're definitely going to be paying attention to this right here, all right, when it takes place. Now, let's go into the currency pairs that have really been affected that I actually haven't covered off, and I want to go to some of the New Zealand and Aussie crosses, all right. I've covered most of the Aussies in my trading session today, but I'm going to go ahead and cover some of the New Zealand crosses right here, because I think it's important to go ahead and focus on them. So we're going to go through these four pairs right here, and we're going to start off with the New Zealand CAD. The New Zealand CAD, we were looking to buy at support at one point, but let's go take a look and see what's going on here. New Zealand CAD. Well, you can see the year that despite of the news that came out, Aussie is actually the one pair that's been affected the most out of the Aussie crash, between the Aussie and New Zealand pair, or these New Zealand crosses. And so if we take a look over here, a lot of choppiness. Look at that, choppiness. But what I do believe here is that we have not managed to take out, with all this news that's gone down, we have not managed to take out this level right here. Now, if US oil is going to correct itself, we're going to strengthen a little bit, it may create a little further bearish move on this, and that's what we're expecting. We're expecting US oil to correct itself. We can see it's trading around about $26 a barrel right now, and it hasn't really drove this pair in any direction. So again, this has really been affected by around coronavirus than anything else. And so if we go ahead and continue to monitor this right here, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, well, if I take a trend line across right here and I draw it across right here and I connect the lines there, I'm seeing price here at support. Now, I know it traded through here, but look at the spike, right? Look at price spike through there and maintain itself. So I'm still going to be, or at least want to be, a buyer in the market. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my trading system that I have right here, and it's called Right Trader Max. And I'm going to go ahead and look on the 1 hour time frame. And as soon as price goes ahead and trades back above my channel lines right here, I want to be a buyer in the market. So I want to make sure that I'm doing exactly that. So if I go to this right here, and I'll take a look at my game plan. My game plan was buy at support, had multiple levels set in right here. I'm going to go ahead and continue to do so. So let's go take a look and see if I've got any positions in right now that is on the New Zealand CAD. Nothing on the New Zealand CAD right now. I want to make sure that I'm in on a buy option only. And let's do this. I've actually got a new setting right here. So let me go ahead and remove this EA right here. And I want to add in my new EA with my default settings. I want to go ahead and just use the default setting right here. And this default setting is going to be using the 1 hour time frame to confirm the direction, and then enter on a 15-minute on multiple entry points. I'm going to go ahead and say okay with this, but I also want to make sure that I'm only going to be buying. So I'm only going to be buying on New Zealand CAD. Right, there it is there. All right, so I'm set on that, and I also have my end zone trader right here that I need to go ahead and double check on this as well. I do see that I have multiple positions in on this. In fact, I've got two right here, and I will continue to let this one ride. I still want to go ahead and hold on to the buys. Okay, so I'm bullish at the moment right now on New Zealand CAD. Let's go ahead and continue. All right, what other pairs can we go ahead and focus in on? New Zealand Swiss. Swiss has definitely been affected by the coronavirus issues, and let's go ahead and take a look at New Zealand Swiss, which would be, oh, hang on, my bad, let me just switch it over. New Zealand Swiss would be right down here. And let's take a look and see what this looks like. All right. So if I break this one down right here, I've got to go ahead and put in my trend lines. There's my trend line here at the top. And if I look over here, I've got my, you know what, I can kill that one right now. I don't need these trend lines for now. All right, there it is. And so if I look at this right here, there would have been my first level where I would look to buy the market. But now I'm going to look down further down south because it clearly is, let's see here, maybe I have to do adjust the trend line. Yep, you know what, let me do this. I'm going to delete all of that I have right here. I'm going to compress this information so I can get in a little more data. I'm going to start off my trend line from that high going across, and it's coming in at an angle. And I'm going to go ahead and take a look and see if this makes a difference right here. Okay, that hasn't made a difference. This hasn't made a difference. Now, the one thing that you've got to pay attention to this right here is if price comes back up to retest the backside over here, this is going to be a selling opportunity. Let me do this. I'm going to put separate lines here. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at right now. And I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that I've got everything. Hold on a second. I've just realized something here. Let me go to the weekly chart. All right, so just notice right here that despite of this downward trend lines, look what we've got going here based on this very strong level of support and resistance. Look at that. Listen here. So I'm going to kill up this. I'm going to kill this. Because now I'm looking at this from a different perspective. I'm looking at this as now resistance here at the top, which means price is going to come back to that resistance. And then I'm looking at this saying we've got support there, support here, there, and now we're back at support right here. So what should I be thinking right now? What I should be thinking right now is support's holding right here. We should see price moving back up north, right? So what I do here is I then go to my document here and I say, all right, we're in. I'm not going to say channel anymore. I'm going to say sideways. We're sideways. I'm not going to stay inside. I'm buying the support right here. I want to go with a gear down approach. All right, gear down, and let's just do this. I want to go with multiple entry points, and I'm going to use the 1 hour time frame to go bullish on this. Now, I noticed that I can actually do a, let's do this. I can actually go ahead and look at using, I can actually go ahead and use a 15-minute time frame, which I have done already on my right trader max. I've got a gear down scalping approach that I can use on the 15 just to pick up some quick profits. And the reason why I want to go ahead and do this on this particular pair is because remember that channel line that we had across right here? Right, we had a channel line going across. So price may go back up and retest that. If it holds there, then I probably want to get the heck out of Dodge. But if it goes through there, then we're good to go all the way up here to the top, right? Obviously, we'll come across a little bit of resistance over here at the trend line there. And, you know, we'll find a little bit of resistance coming off the trend line right here. So we'll get that sort of, resistance off those levels. But very importantly, what I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm going to get as much as I possibly can out of this move going along right here. Now, I can use a 1 hour time frame or I can use a 15-minute scalp. Now, what I normally do is I look at the angle and I see this right here. This is my 1 hour time frame. And I say, well, it's going to take a long time before we get there. In fact, if it goes ahead and trades above here, then gets the signal line to go above that, we could be 200 pips in the up, 200 pips up already. Now, if I think and I believe that we may see price turn around, and I don't want to get these false signals here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a downward, I'm going to use a gearing down scalping approach where I'm going to confirm the change of direction based on this the EMA, right? So this blue channel needs to be above my, what I'm calling my RT max, which is the red channel right here. So I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to go ahead and scalp. And I'm going to add on to this right here. I'm saying waiting for price to move back to support. Listen here. We're in a range at, and I'm going to say at support. Let's buy. Or let's think bullish. All right. Let's think bullish right here. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is once and this is something that you've got to realize that once we define that we actually have a directional bias, right? Once we define that we have a directional bias, and we've gone ahead and drawn in all our trend lines, and we understand precisely where we are inside the market environment, which is at support right now. Once I define that and I'm happy with that, then all I need to do is use a automated system or use a strategy built into a robot and go ahead and deploy that in that direction only. Because I only want to go ahead and look to buy right now. I'm not interested in sells unless we break through that support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my my trading robot, and I'm going to go ahead and deploy that in that direction. So I'm going to go to the trading robot right here, and I'm going to look for the New Zealand Swiss franc. I don't believe I have New Zealand Swiss open up right now, so I'm going to have to open up one right here. So let's go to New Zealand Swiss, and there it is there. Now I'm going to go ahead and buy on this one only. I want to just go ahead and buy only. That's what I want to do. New Zealand Swiss, buy only. Now this is on one of my systems. I'm going to go to the other system right here too. And I also notice I do not have New Zealand Swiss. And so I'm going to go to New Zealand Swiss right here. Open up a new page. And I'm going to go ahead, and this one I want to do a little bit of scalping on. So I'm going to go to a gear down scope, a scalping setting right here that I've saved up as a default setting. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to only buy. That's all I want to do is buy only. And I'm going to go ahead and press that OK. So now it's ready to go. So now I don't have to worry about this anymore, because as soon as price starts working its way, oh, by the way, I need to change to the 50-minute time frame as well. There we go. So I know that this is a scalping option. I'm going to move it with my rest of my scalpers right here that I'm set up right there. So I know that there's a scalping option right here, which means that if price moves above my channel lines and we confirm that it's bullish, it's going to start deploying the trade and manage that trade for me based on my settings that I've gone ahead and set in. All right. So I'm all good to go in that one, and I'm done. So now I can go ahead and move on to the next currency pair. My next currency pair is going to be the New Zealand JPY. So the first thing I want to go ahead and do is take a look at the way we are set up on the larger time frames, and then I'm going to make a decision as to how I'm going to trade it. We have different types of trading approaches. You can trade it from a gear up, a gear down, or a scalping approach, right? All right, so let's take a look at it right here. So we know that we've got support over here. There's a lot of support here of this trend line right there. It's inside trend line. Let's take a look and see. Now, listen here. You see how price moves through it and comes back up and then starts stalling right here? Now, price is not or the support and resistance is not a defined price. It's an area. So we're in an area of support, which means that I want to go ahead and start thinking about buying long to the upside. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to be temporary buying long. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the New Zealand JPY right here. And I've already said there, yep, we're on a bearish channel, buy support. We're an inside channel right here. I'm going to go and update the document right here. And you said there, price found inside channel support. So once I found inside channel support, guess what I want to do? I want to go ahead and buy it. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's at least make sure that we are still doing that. So New Zealand JPY. I don't see New Zealand JPY on this strategy. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in. New Zealand JPY. And I'm also going to go with, you know what I'm going to do with this? I'm going to do a scalping on this as well. Because we're at that support level, if it starts going back up, I want to go ahead and scalp it bullish. So I don't want to sell right now. I just want to buy. And I'm going to go ahead and OK that. And this is going to be down on the 15-minute time frame. Okay? So as soon as we break it back above there, we're in long. And I'm going to move that chart all the way over here because we're scalping. I'm going to keep them all together. Okay, cool. All right, so we're set on that one right here. And then, of course, the other strategy right here, New Zealand JPY. Let's make sure. There it is there. I want to make sure that we are buying long. And yes, we are. We are buying long, so I'm good to go. All right, so we're done. Next, moving on to the next currency pair, New Zealand US dollar. All right, let's go ahead and take a look, see what New Zealand US dollar is doing here. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a look and see. Whoa, okay. So when price was trading over here, we were okay looking to buy along. But now the price is trading below there and actually quite aggressively through there, we're on the sideline, all right, until price comes back up to resistance. Now, if I find anything supporting this move to the downside, I may go ahead and look to trade it back up with maybe some sort of scalp move. But while we've broken through this support level right here, I may want to go ahead and take a look and see what else I've got here on this chart. Let's go ahead and skin it up a little bit. And if you look over here, man, there's not a lot of options out here. All right, we've got, let's see here, we've got another support level probably coming off this level right here because we've got multiple touches over here. So we're going to get support there. There was old resistance. Now going to become support. Oh, look at that. We're at a support level there. Now, if it breaks through that, guess what? It's going to come to this level. So with this being a support level for the market right here, maybe we can start thinking about buying long. So because we're at support, I'm going to do this. I'm going to use and I'm going to go ahead and update my document right here. So I'm going to say New Zealand, it broke through the channel. So do we have a bearish channel right here? Let's do this. All right, there's a channel there. I want to see if that even is worth looking at. All right, let's see here. No, that's not worth anything. Let's see if I get a little bit more aggressive on this and I go from here down there and I see if that becomes a opportunity. Look at that. Okay, so look here. We kill this. All right, focusing on what's at hand. Right here, look at this. We've got touches here. All right, we've got a touch here. We've got a touch there. And now we've got a touch here. And guess what? It's at an old support resistance level, and that's now becoming support. All right, it's acted as support and resistance right here. And now it's at this point right here. So we have a certain level of support coming up over here that we need to pay attention to. So guess what? I'm going to go ahead and start thinking about buying long. And I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to type up here in the document here that we are currently right now on New Zealand US dollar. Update that. And I'm going to say here, we at support. Let me call it a long-term support level. And, oh, sorry, my bad. Let's get that right. We're at long-term support level and bottom of a bearish channel. Right about there. Okay, there it is there. Now, we're going to go ahead and say, let's buy at support. Let's call this a bearish channel. All right, buy at support. We're going to go in with a gear up approach right here. All right, multiple strategy, 1 hour time frame. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've gone ahead and what did I do on those two pairs? Let me take a look here. On the New Zealand, let's see here. We scalped the New Zealand Swiss, New Zealand JPY. Okay, so we scalped those two pairs there. New Zealand Swiss and JPY, we scalped them. So I need to go ahead and make sure I update my document here. So these two right here, I'm just going to add in here RT Max scalping. Or should I say scalping RT Max? Yeah, let's do that. All right, there it is there. And the same thing for this right here. All right, there it is there. All right, so now this is going to be the same thing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to scalp RT Max because we're at that support level. All right, I'm going to do that. So this one right here, even though we're doing multiple, I am scalping these three right here. So I've gone ahead and geared down scalping on these three right here. And it's the RT Max that I'm doing that. And so this one right now, I'm going to be bullish on only. And I'm going to go ahead and set up my EAs. So here's my EAs right here. I'm going to go ahead and set it up with the New Zealand US dollar. I don't believe we have one open yet. Let's take a look here. Nope, no open here. So we're going to go ahead and open this right here. And I'm going to go ahead and add on the system. Deploy the scalping, gearing down scalping approach. And I want to go ahead and buy only. Right? Buy only, and it's going to be on the 15-minute time frame. And let's move this across here so we know where it's at. Right? Scalping. And then on the other, I'm going to go ahead and New Zealand US dollar. Making sure I don't have that open. No, I don't. And what I want to do on the New Zealand US dollar right here, I'm going to open up and I'm going to buy only on this one. This is going to be done on the 1 hour. And that's it. We're done. All right. Now, once I've done that, I'm set, ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that. And now I have my systems deployed. All right. And the way I address the market, the way I go ahead and address the markets is I don't have to go ahead and pay attention to the setups every single day. You know, what we do want to pay attention to is maybe once a day to maybe just take a look. Look, I don't have to sit in front of the computer all day long every single day. But yes, I do have to go ahead and just take a look and see, making sure that I'm still at the support or I'm still at resistance based on my trading system that I'm trading. And if I can go ahead and identify that I'm still at those levels, then I don't really need to do any additional work. Obviously, just make sure that my systems are still running and everything is good. But I can just let it go and just allow the markets to, or at least allow the markets to do what it needs to do, but also allow my EAs, my trading robots, to do all the heavy lifting for me and to follow through with the logic that I've coded in to the EA in order for it to run properly and manage my position that I need to manage. So my work is done on those fours. All I got to do now is sit back, let the markets do whatever it needs to do, and the EAs will follow and make sure that when we do have the right signal, whether it's 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, or late in the evening, it'll go ahead and deploy my trades for me. All right, traders, well, hopefully you learned a little bit from that. If you learned a little bit from that, you want more information as to what I do, check in the description. I've got a lot of stuff there that you can go ahead and grab. Also, I've got a Telegram channel. If you can go ahead and join the Telegram channel as well. It's free. Go ahead and join. I do post information on trade opportunities and videos and all that good stuff. Also, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so. So when we post videos, you're going to get access to those videos as soon as we do post them. Don't forget to go ahead and make sure that you click the notification bell so that you get notifications of when we actually post those videos. All right. Well, with that being said, hopefully you've learned something and taken something home, and we will see you in the next video. This is FX Big Dog signing off.